Donald Trump's legal problems are stacking up yet again. A New York jury found his company guilty of tax fraud. Special counsel Jack Smith subpoenaed local officials in swing states for their communications involving Trump. And the January 6th committee said it expects to make criminal referrals to the Justice Department. So let's break it down and bring in Barbara McQuade, a veteran federal prosecutor and former U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Michigan. Barb, let's talk about what this means for the Trump organization, because it was a week ago we heard the news that Trump penned a huge real estate deal with a Saudi Arabian real estate developer for a $4 billion project in Oman. Does this conviction put all that at risk?
It does, not necessarily, but I think that anytime you've got a conviction for a felony by a corporate entity, there is some concern. You know, oftentimes whenever there's a deal, a loan that is secured by a company, there are often clauses, you know, that say that things can trigger changes in those terms, like a criminal conviction. So it could be that an entity like Saudi Arabia or anyone else could call a loan as a result of it. And he faces the company a fine of $1.6 million, probably not a huge price tag in light of all of the other kinds of transactions that the Trump organization does. But the reputational harm that a criminal conviction does puts all kinds of other things at jeopardy, like loans, like business deals.
I don't know. $1.6 million sounds like pennies. Jared and Ivanka made $600 million while they were working in the White House, and he's now running $2 billion of MBS's money. Talk to us about Jack Smith's subpoenas. How big a deal are they?
You know, it strikes me as interesting in a couple of regards. One is Jack Smith is wasting no time. The date on these things was November 22nd, which is within days of his appointment as special counsel. Subpoenas requesting communications records from clerks' offices in 3 of these swing states where there were fake electors. So could be really revealing, really interesting to see if there are any of those kinds of records between those counties and Donald Trump or others. But the other thing it says to me is, how could they not have asked for this already? How is it that here we are almost 2 years after January 6th, and they're just now asking for these? I mean, you can only imagine the conversation Jack Smith had with them when he said, where are all the communications records between Trump and all these clerks' offices? And the group saying, what? No, we haven't asked for those yet. You haven't what? Well, let's get those right away. So, both it says that he's working hard and looking for important things, but also perhaps some gaps that have existed in the investigation to date.
Was he asking, or perhaps was he screaming? What are you expecting with these possible criminal referrals from the January 6th committee? We heard they could be coming, but we don't know to whom.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. There was even a question as to whether these would be for perjury, and I think Chairman Thompson said, we'll have to wait and see what they are for. So hard to speculate before then, but, you have to really take Liz Cheney at her word when she said that she thought the committee had produced evidence of conspiracy to defraud the United States, obstruction of an official proceeding. And if you think about all the people in that cast of characters, hard to imagine it would not include Donald Trump and John Eastman, Jeffrey Clark, some of the other people who were part of that plot to try to subvert the election. So we'll wait and see, but I would imagine it includes at least those 3, if not others.
All right, adding to the long list of hardcore Trumpers who do not want to open their mouths, Michael Flynn has now been ordered to testify to the Georgia grand jury, the one investigating Trump's election interference. We know what they want to learn, but let's be honest, it's Michael Flynn. What are they really going to get?
Well, maybe not too much, Stephanie, but it's really important for Fani Willis to talk to anybody who might have been involved in these efforts, because you want to lock in their story now. It may be that he doesn't tell you much. It may be he truthfully can't tell you much. But what you really don't want to happen is you charge a case now, and then by the time the case comes to trial a year from now, Mike Flynn strolls in and he's got some big story about how it's all a big mistake. So you want to find that out now, and putting him in the grand jury is the way to do that.
All right, Barbara McQuade, thank you very much.